Hello everyone, I'm Young Yoon and I will present the overview paper of the GENEA Challenge 2022. It was a part of ICMI Grand Challenges and this paper is published at ICMI. This work was done together with Peter, Taras, Carla, Theodore, Mihail, and Gustav. The challenge task was co-speech gesture generation. This is an important social skill for virtual characters, humanoid robot, and other artificial agents that interact with people. The input is speech in the form of audio and text, and speaker identity. And the goal is to synthesize gesture motion for the virtual character that looks natural and is appropriate to the input speech. There are previous gesture generation methods, but it has been difficult to compare their performance because they use different dataset, different visualization, and different evaluation methods. The idea of this challenge is to compare different gesture generation approaches while controlling for all the other parts of the gesture generation pipeline. By standardizing the dataset, visualization, and evaluation, we can have a fair comparison of different methods for generating cross-speech gestures. The challenge data was based on talking with the hands 16.2M from meta research. It contains about 20 hours of recorded speech audio and accurate motion capture data from persons engaged in conversation. As the dataset name indicates, the motion data include finger movement, but finger motion is only available for about half of the dataset. For the remaining portion of the data, fingers are fixed at the rest pose. For the challenge, we processed the original data in several ways. We removed the recordings without audio or with low capture quality. We also retargeted the rest pose to a standard T pose, which is used for many machine learning methods. In addition, we added text transcriptions of the speech, which do not exist in the original dataset. For the visualization, we made a custom neutral characters, as shown here, and retargeted the motion data to this character. As you can see, we used the frontal camera view of a single person speaking. The original data set was recorded in a dyadic conversation setting, but we set the challenge data task to be gesture generation for a monologue speech for simplicity. We plan to expand the challenge to dyadic conversations in the future. The challenge had two tiers, a full body and an upper body tier. It wasn't clear that lower body parts mattered to speech gestures, especially in this frontal viewpoint, so we considered both full body and upper body settings. The participating teams could submit to one or both tiers, and we got 8 submissions in each tier. In the full body visualization, we choose this particular camera perspective that doesn't show the feet of the character to avoid the sliding artifacts because those artifacts do not relate to core speech gestures. The evaluation includes natural human motion taken from the challenge dataset. This data was not available to participants during the challenge. It also contains 2 baselines based on previously published work with open code. One is an audio-based baseline that only uses speech audio data as input. The other baseline is a text-based baseline that only considers speech text. Both these baselines were also included in the previous GENEA challenge in 2020. In addition, there were submissions from 10 different teams. Below are the code names for each condition. The first character F means full body tier, while U is for the upper body tier. This table from our paper summarizes the characteristics of the different submissions. It shows the input used, technique, post-processing, etc. Since challenge results are anonymous, we do not show which team had which label in the evaluations, but individual teams are free to disclose which letter codes are theirs if they wish. Many teams do so in their own papers. The heart of a scientific challenge is the evaluation. We conducted 2 evaluations. The first evaluated the human likeness of the generated motion. We selected 48 short segments from the test set following 5 criteria. Segments shouldn't be approximately 8 to 10 seconds long. The character should only be speaking, not listening in the segment. Segments should not contain parts where the audio has been silenced for anonymization. Segments should be more or less complete praise. Finally, recorded motion capture in the segment should not contain any significant motion artifacts. We used the handbeam evaluation interface, which was presented at the previous ICMI. This interface was implemented to compare multiple videos side by side. We asked the participants, how human-like does the gesture motion appear? And presented 8 videos on a page. The videos show motion from different conditions for the same input speech. Participants rated each video in 0 to 100 scale. All the videos were muted because this allows scoring the human likeness of the motion in isolation without being influenced by the speech. We recruited about 120 and 150 crowd workers for the full body and upper body tiers. There were 10 conditions in the full body tier and 11 conditions in the upper body tier. This is a box plot of the result. The blue boxes cover 25 and 75 percentiles of all the responses. The median and mean are indicated in red and yellow color with confidence intervals. Conditions are ordered descending by sample median. One submission labeled FSA showed a similar performance to the natural human motion capture labeled FNA. Two submissions, FSC and FSI, were rated about 50. The remaining systems, including the baseline systems, were rated below 40. The upper body tier showed similar results. In this case, one submission was quite a bit better than the natural motion capture. This is a big achievement. We were not expecting this. For our second evaluation, we studied how appropriate the motion was to the input speech. Evaluating motion appropriateness is not an easy problem. One used the same interface as the one used in human likeness study while enabling audio, and we actually did that in the previous GENEA challenge. But the evaluation participants were easily influenced by the overall motion quality, so it was hard to isolate and measure the appropriateness correctly. This year, we decided to evaluate motion appropriateness for speech in a different way. We used these stimuli in a pairwise comparison, presenting matched and mismatched motion videos in random order side by side. The participants were asked to indicate which character's motion best matched the speech in terms of rhythm, intonation, and meaning. Then, how we created this video stimulus. For each of the test segments, we created 2 videos. One matched, one mismatched. Both contained the same speech audio and the motion from the same condition, but the motion was different in the 2 cases. In one case, the motion corresponded to the speech in the video, but in the other case, motion corresponded to some other speech unrelated to the speech heard in the video clip.
Get anywhere. It's just like so
This
annoying.
is an example.
Yeah, annoying. Like I like that I can drive to the store in like 5 minutes because that's way simpler for me. Minutes to get anywhere. It's just like so annoying. Yeah, annoying. Like I like that I can drive to the store in like 5 minutes because that's way simpler for me.
Could you tell which one is the matched one? The video on the left is a matched one. We recruited 247 and 304 crowd workers for the full body and upper body tiers. These are the results for the full body tier. Here the blue boxes indicate the preference for the matched video. The red boxes indicate preference for the mismatched video. The gray box represents equal preference. The natural human motion FNA showed the greatest preference for the matched motion at 75% after splitting ties. All systems showed more than 50% preference for the matching video, but many are not significantly different from chance, and those systems showed comparable results to natural human motion. This result is revealing about the state of the field. It is clear that generating meaningful and appropriate gesture is still far from being a solved problem. We got similar result in the upper body tier. The USL system has a particularly wide gray box. It is because the system generates relatively little motion for most input speech. So the motion in the two videos is not so different. This figure is a joint visualization of the human likeness and appropriateness results for the full body tier. Natural human motion is the upper right corner, which is the best performing one. FSA showed a high score in human likeness, but was located far below FNA in terms of appropriateness. In conclusion, we have seen that some modern methods are able to generate natural gestures that are comparable to human motion in terms of human likeness. Most methods are scored better than the baseline from 2019. But at the same time, we find that all synthetic gestures are much less appropriate for speech than human gestures. I'm personally happy with this because it shows that there is a lot of work left for us to do in this field. And our new evaluation approach was able to separate the human likeness of the motion and the appropriateness of the gesture for the speech. Finally, we believe the challenge is helpful to move the field forward. We can use this standardized data for easy comparison, and we can also advance best practice in evaluation as done with the mismatched methodology here. We have made all our materials, including data set, code, evaluation stimuli, and user study responses publicly available and invite you to use them in your research. Thank you for listening, and thanks to the Research Fund for their support. Feel free to scan this QR code to get to the project webpage for our challenge with all the challenge materials.